Balba already 1 year ago agreed personal terms with Man United. He was ready to go to Man United 1 year ago without European football. So imagine how much he would like to go to United. But at the moment, Balba and his agents are yet to receive any fresh message from Manchester United. So while for Tchouaméni is a name always discussed internally, for Balba at the moment, Man United are aware of the player desire. He would be super keen on joining Manchester United, but at the moment United have not returned with an approach or a proposal to Brighton. So at the moment the Balba topic, I think it's a little bit cold. Then if the big topics, the big names and negotiations collapse, let's see eventually what happens. But at the moment it's just player big desire, but at the moment that's it.
Manchester United's search for a third midfielder is beginning to gather serious momentum, with fresh reports suggesting that the club are now entering a crucial stage of their summer recruitment plans. According to Fabrizio Romano, personal terms with Brighton midfielder Carlos Balba are not expected to be an issue should United decide to push ahead with a formal move. That is a hugely encouraging development for the Reds, as agreeing terms with the player is often one of the biggest hurdles in any transfer. The focus now shifts to negotiations between the clubs, with United's recruitment department continuing to assess the financial package required before making their next move. Even more interesting is the latest information surrounding Balba himself. Reports suggest that representatives close to the midfielder have once again made contact with Manchester United, indicating that the player remains extremely keen on wearing the famous red shirt. Those around Balba believe the timing could finally be right for a transfer after he pushed incredibly hard to join Old Trafford last year. His admiration for Manchester United has never disappeared, and there is a growing feeling that if United decide to accelerate negotiations, the Cameroon international would welcome the opportunity immediately. It is exactly the type of ambition supporters love to hear from potential signings. However, the race for United's final midfield addition remains far from straightforward. Talks with Manu Kone continue behind the scenes as the club carefully evaluates its budget. United are determined to strengthen the defensive midfield department with a player capable of covering huge distances, winning duels, recovering possession, and injecting fresh energy into the middle of the pitch. Club officials remain in contact with Kone's representatives, but before making a final decision, they must establish exactly how much money is available following other transfer activity. Once that financial picture becomes clearer, United are expected to move quickly for their preferred target. Another fascinating name firmly on Manchester United's shortlist is Bournemouth star Alex Scott. Fabrizio Romano reports that Scott remains highly rated by those making recruitment decisions at Old Trafford, with the midfielder reportedly rejecting a new contract at Bournemouth. That decision has naturally fueled speculation that he is preparing for the next chapter of his career. Scott is viewed as one of England's brightest young midfielders, capable of playing in several positions while offering exceptional technical quality, intelligence, and composure under pressure. Manchester United reportedly remain the only club holding serious discussions with Bournemouth regarding a possible transfer fee, which could hand the Reds an important advantage if negotiations intensify over the coming days. Scott's ambition is also becoming increasingly clear. The talented midfielder reportedly wants to test himself at the highest level, compete in the UEFA Champions League, and prove that he belongs among Europe's elite. Those are exactly the kind of players Manchester United should be targeting. Footballers who are hungry to improve, eager to embrace pressure, and determined to succeed on the biggest stage. The midfield debate among Manchester United supporters is becoming one of the biggest talking points of the summer. Carlos Balba offers outstanding athleticism, power, aggression, and enormous long-term potential. Manu Kone brings excellent ball-winning ability, strong defensive instincts, and impressive physicality. Aurélien Tchouaméni, meanwhile, remains the proven elite-level performer with experience of winning major trophies and performing consistently in Europe's biggest competitions. If finances were not a concern, many supporters would argue that Tchouaméni remains the dream signing because of his experience and leadership. However, Balba may possess the highest ceiling for the future, while Kone could represent an excellent balance between quality and affordability. Ultimately, Manchester United must decide whether they prioritise immediate experience or invest in a midfielder capable of becoming one of the Premier League's dominant players over the next 5 years. Elsewhere, Marcus Rashford's future has taken another unexpected twist. Barcelona have decided against making his loan move permanent, meaning the England international is expected to return to Carrington in the coming weeks. At present, there appears to be very little movement elsewhere in the transfer market for Rashford. The 28-year-old is reportedly unwilling to join another Premier League club that cannot offer Champions League football, and as things stand, he is prepared to remain at Manchester United this season. That situation presents Michael Carrick with an interesting decision. Rashford remains one of the club's most experienced attacking players, and on his day, one of the most devastating forwards in English football. If he returns fully focused, works hard throughout pre-season, and rediscovers his confidence, Carrick could have a valuable option without spending another huge transfer fee. Sometimes a refreshed and motivated player can feel like a brand new signing. Manchester United are also monitoring developments in the striker market. Reports suggest both United and Arsenal are interested in Ollie Watkins. With Joshua Zirkzee attracting interest from Juventus and Roma, the club are preparing contingency plans should the Dutch striker depart. Watkins is viewed as a reliable Premier League goalscorer whose movement, work rate and experience could complement Benjamin Šeško perfectly, while helping the young striker continue his development. Having an experienced forward alongside one of Europe's brightest young talents could give United far greater attacking depth across a demanding campaign. However, Manchester United are continuing to monitor the situation of Borussia Dortmund midfielder Felix Metscher as they explore their options to strengthen the squad this summer. According to reports, the Reds have maintained a strong interest in the German international, with the club's recruitment team closely assessing his performances and availability. Metscher is admired for his athleticism, composure on the ball and versatility, with the ability to operate as both a defensive and box-to-box midfielder. With Michael Carrick determined to add more energy, physicality and technical quality to the heart of midfield, Metscher is viewed as a player who fits the club's long-term vision. While Manchester United continue to evaluate other midfield targets such as Carlos Balba, Manu Kone and Alex Scott, the Dortmund star remains firmly on their radar. Should the right opportunity arise during the transfer window, United could step up their interest and make a concrete move to bring the talented midfielder to Old Trafford. Meanwhile, another name being discussed internally is Tyler Adams. The Bournemouth midfielder has admired qualities that United appreciate, particularly his work rate, defensive discipline and relentless intensity. At an estimated £35 million, Adams would represent a significantly more affordable option than several other midfield targets. Bournemouth are believed to be much more open to negotiating his departure than they are with Alex Scott, making Adams an interesting alternative if United decide to pursue better value in the market. From my perspective, Manchester United should continue making Balba their priority if Brighton become willing to negotiate at a realistic fee. His physical presence, energy, ability to carry the ball through midfield, and potential to develop into one of Europe's best holding midfielders make him an exciting long-term investment. If Balba proves impossible to sign, Manu Kone would be an excellent alternative because he possesses many of the defensive qualities United currently lack. Alex Scott would add creativity, intelligence and versatility, but I see him more as a complementary midfield signing rather than the specialist defensive midfielder the squad still needs. Tchouaméni would undoubtedly be the statement signing, yet any deal would depend heavily on Real Madrid's willingness to negotiate. What do you think, Reds? If you could only choose one midfielder, who would you sign? Carlos Balba, Manu Kone, Alex Scott or Aurelien Tchouameni? Should Manchester United trust Balba's desire to play for the club, or should they prioritise experience with Tchouameni? Do you believe Marcus Rashford deserves another opportunity under Michael Carrick after returning from Barcelona? And finally, if Joshua Zirkzee leaves, would you welcome Ollie Watkins to Old Trafford, or should United pursue a younger striker instead? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this update, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Manchester United news, transfer updates and exclusive Old Trafford developments.